Hey, you're fucking muted.
Here's a friendly reminder. Change the fucking scene, you ignorant twat!
2, 3, 4. There we go. We got Mike now. Cheers, Rick. I'm glad I put that on. That worked. Yeah, there we go. That might be because I've been playing around. I was adding Dixper in for tonight. So, because no one heard me earlier. Good evening, everyone. How are we doing? How is everyone's Tuesday night? Hopefully you're all doing well. What you've got planned? What you're doing? What have you done? Right, the new alerts work, but everything is showing up. Everything. It's about damn time. The new alerts work, but everything's showing up double. Why would it show up? Oh.
Okay, the blurbs aren't showing up double, but watch the screen.
Okay, so that's the sound alert. Right, hang on. That might be. A second. It might be because I've added them, so I've got an internal sound and an external sound. Where are we? Let's shout out that sound alert. And my other sound alert should be behind everything. Just out of curiosity. No, it won't be that one, will it? Right, try. Where are we? I don't think clip works. I don't think he does. I might need to sort that out. I don't know how you do that one. But I can find out. Oh, where dashboard? This is because we've been fiddling to try to improve things. Right, okay, and then I don't want notification. I want library, my alerts. Right, let's try that one. Okay, so it's not that one.
Drink water. Become moist.
Oh, I know why. I think hang on. If I do that one. Do you like the new hydrate message? And let me try that. There we go. I know why. For some reason, I've got a sound alert up 3 times. Right, okay, remove that one. Need to make sure. Does that mean I'm missing the? Yeah, it does. I know why. Bum 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 bum. I want that. I want to add that. That. Ow. Um. Okay. It was because for some reason I. Why is that? Why is that? Is that? That's not. No. No, it's not the one I had. Hang on.
BTWJ, you might wanna go change your pants after that first scream I did when I came on stream.
Why it keeps it warmer? Read the right source. Add existing. I want shout out. Got sound alerts monitor, sound alerts output, shout out monitor, right, shout out output. There we go, that's the one I was missing. There somewhere. Lock you, lock you, lock you. Lock one, lock two, lock Loman.
Testes. Testes. 1, 2, 3.
Right, and also this should work. I can't do that, can I? They're not in it. Oh, also, Rick, thank you very much for the gifted sub earlier.
Okay, go, go, go.
Well, that audio doesn't seem to be the right audio room for that. Oh, you didn't have to do that, but thank you. Okay, that I'm not sure that's the right audio one for that. Just out of curiosity. Let me just try somebody else. Make sure I spell it right.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh my god! Oh fuck! Oh, okay, well that's how you get in that door! Oh. Holy
Okay, it must just be. I don't know what I will do on that one, but okay. There we go. Also, guys, Sniper Elite doesn't come out until January, giving you time to save some money to pick it up. Nice. I'm sure that one is going to be cross-play, isn't it? I hope so, because I've got it. Did I buy it? No, I got it pre-ordered on. Well, pre-ordered on Xbox Game Pass. So hopefully, right? Okay, where were we going? Where were we going? We came up in the elevator. Where's the elevator? E for elevator? Possibly. No, because there's two E's. Oh, still could be elevator. Right, okay. Let's try this way. I mean, ma'am, kindly go away. Oh. No. 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 Where is that thirsty ass thought Maria? She's asleep. She was tired, so she's gone for a kip.
Be gone, fuck!
I thought she'd never play it. Okay. That looks like a first aid box. There's an empty first aid box. Oh, screw you. don't know whether I'll be there or not, but where is there? Okay, that opens up the other door to the restroom. Fine. Okay, we're only 3 bullets down. I suppose that's not so bad. That's locked.
By the way, Jay, why are pirates called pirates? Well, I dunno, they just are.
I suppose it's a good time to check to see if this works. Hang on. Does that work? I don't jump back. Did you do the dun dun? Yeah, that's fine. That's easy enough. I just need to drop that behind the main scene. Put that right down the bottom. So, that better? I only get a brief kind of hissing noise. He doesn't play properly for me. But what I've done is I've changed my audio capture out. I don't know, I've just been in this room. I'll go that way, I think. I changed my audio capture out, so I no longer capture my headphone sound. I'm capturing the game sound, but I have everything on, so I've got like a monitor and an output, so I can change the levels for what you guys can hear out there, and for what I hear, so that I don't have it too loud and you don't have it too quiet. We've got more shotgun shells. I don't know why you want to look fondly at a chain and padlock. What you got up into your own time is entirely your own business. There's no kink shaming here, just kink explaining. You're more than entitled to do anything you want. So I think I'm going to work during the time between Christmas and New Year to get things set up with a go live date of January the 3rd at 6:30 or 7 PM. Nice. Well, I will definitely do my utmost to be there for your very first stream. If nothing else, I can troll you relentlessly. And we still don't have a key for that one either. There's a lot of locks in this place, but not many keys. Did I say troll? I mean support.
No, Jay, we do not kink shame. We do, however, kink question.
And we kink explain as well. If you're by the door, I'm going to scream and then kick you. Why is there a really scary looking teddy bear? It's amazing the damage a little prick can do. Yes, needle. Ha 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 ha. I'm sorry, what King Salt? Oh no, there was hang on, let me go and see if I'm back and find the room. Hang on. What are you dirty talking about? Hang on, I'll show you. Hang on, let me just make sure. No. Yeah. Let's reload that. I got a feeling there's something behind the frigging door. No, no. No. Right. Okay, where was the one with the gotta find the room. Was it here? I think it was here. Yeah, this was one. He was looking at the bed and the chain and the padlock. So I said, "Why are you looking at the chain and padlock so fondly? What you want to do is entirely your own business. We don't kink shame. We just kink explain. But do it your own time, please." Now you're caught up. Right, let's not for that door. And then we made a comment about the needle, and it's amazing what damage a small prick can cause. Yep. That's locked. That's a staircase. Right, that gets us back round to where we started. But yes, we have Dixper up and running tonight as well. For your entertainment. Hang on, where am I going? That's there, that's there, that's... Is that open? No. I got a feeling this one will be. He's only been talking about all the dirty stuff he's got to do. Right, it's not behind me, that's the main thing. No, no. Right, okay. That medicine? Nope. Another one's gonna troll me. Yeah. Cabinet's just like Mum and Dad's. No. No. Ignore the spooky TV. Oh, we got a key. We got a key. L1. Right, we can now get into L1. Right. What were you doing in the toilet? Oh, right. There's got to be medicines in it. No. Thank you. That was really annoying me. And we couldn't find the off switch. Okay, right. Where's L1? Oh, is there one downstairs? Third floor. Oh, that's S1. Oh, L1. Okay, I know where L1 is. It's too empty. You jump out me, I swear. I'll scream. See, I can hear you. Right, I'm guessing that's got to go over there. Right, they can stay there for a second. I've got a feeling there's something round behind here. Maybe not. What's that? Shotgun? Hand cannon. Alright. Yeah. They brought in the girl today. Poor thing hasn't said a word. She just sits there, head in her hands, sobbing and quivering. I moved her to the corner bed. Seems to have calmed down a bit. She even smiled at me, I think. Yeah, baby, we even have a new hydrate message. If you're still there. Right, where else we got in here? Can you open that door? No. I think there's something out here somewhere. What was that? Bloody shotgun ammo we could do with. Oh. I can see. Now, I'm not sure whether you're. You can fuck off. Put politely. No. Really? You've just seen what's gone down there and you're still going down? Do you really think that's going to go well? You're stuck in a narrow space with a creepy little bish that just ran away from you. Okay, right. Let's have a quick look at the map. Where are we now? Okay, we're back to ground room. We're back to the first floor. We took the shortcut. Did we go round? So we went round. Oh, hang on. Other way. Right, second floor. So if we came up the elevator there, we must have done the loop of there, back through there. We've opened there, went in there. Okay, so I think, yeah, right. I don't think we've missed anything at the moment. Just bloody crawl spaces. It's like let me stick my head at the perfect height where you can come and stomp on my head. Oh, that's locked. There's a shock. Why won't they help me? Why do they keep me in here with him? Let me out, 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 let me out. Is it on the shelves as useful? No, but there's a typewriter. Seems to be giving flashbacks to him for something. There's a... Okay, thank you. But actually got an up one rather than down one. There, nothing there. Right, okay, we got one of the bracelets. No. No. Oh. That medicine didn't last long, did it? Where'd you even come from? Okay. So that's one wristband. No, I'll find out where I'm going. Elevator, where was the elevator? That's the stairs. I've seen E for elevator. Might be good that way. I think I opened that door up. Didn't find out. Maybe not. Can we? Maybe. Actually, that may be the corridor we can't get into at the moment. Yeah, okay, that corridor's locked at the moment. Yeah, just because I know, just going to get this sense of this game, and it'd be the ideal time for them to prank us by having someone in the elevator. Okay, maybe not. Right. Oh, there are two exits to this. Okay, let's go and see what's up on the third floor. I think that's where we came out last time. Oh, suppose now's a good time to save as any. Go. Oh, hang on, let's see. Oh, that's handy. I missed picking up. Missed picking that up before. He's speaking properly as well. You put my teeth in. Take care of what matters. Leave the rest to us. Oh, that's where she's asleep. Okay. So she's snoozing there. I can hear you. I could better do with a better torch. I could see. No, no. No, not that one. Okay, right. Okay, I wasted a few bullets on that one. I'll admit it, I got a bit trigger happy. Right, where am I? Hang on. I must have been this way before because he's got a keypad. Okay, yeah, that's that way. That's that way. I think I've been around this bit before. Then that's not open. That takes up 6 of those. Okay, that's better. That's bullets, that's good. That's even more bullets, that's even better. Although having more than one shotgun bullet would be nice. Right, okay, that's the keypad. Don't have a code for yet. I think that's where we came in. From memory. Okay, so that's where we've just been. Right. So. We go this way. Right, and then go up to this thing. Right, that's one of the three. Right, we've got one of the three bracelets. So we need the other two bracelets. Right. We also need a code for that lock. Get the pipe off you? No. Okay. That's the room we just went in. That ahead of us is back to where we were a second ago. And then we got the staircase, right. Out of curiosity. No. Oh, there are bullets here. I was wondering whether you could open up the gate down here so you could come up by stairs rather than having to go up and down the elevator, but... That's what he says. But we do have wabbits. Right, let's save that.
Hey, are you okay?
Go away!
Don't be afraid. I just want to talk.
Wow, come back. Excuse me. Oi, will you ever talk any manners? Come back. Kids these days. Where am I? Hold on. So I've got. Staircase is. No. Right, he's got one of you. That's locked. Let's see, that needs another key. I know there's a hospital, but there's more locked doors in here. No, that's another lock. Okay, so right, left, right. But we need the numbers. Patient's room, D1, okay. Let's see what I need now. Notepad. We're going to have to start writing something. There's so many codes in that for this one, I think. New notepad. Okay. Well, I've seen better days. Patient for observation, malnourished, shallow breathe and avoid eye contact, agitated in presence of staff, frantic at notion of touch. Day 2, patient refuses solid food. Neither gastric force feeding required. Serotonin and antagonist administered. Antagonist? Reduce nausea and vomiting. Day 3, patient restrained from bathing and feeding. Prepare the treatment room accordingly. Okay, well that's a little bit harsh. To say the least. Nothing in the drawer. Is there? Alright, there's no white there, so I'm guessing we can't just bust through that window. That'll be a no. Hang on. Where you gone? Kind of got a feeling I've gone out on. That's the corridor. Right, okay, so go that way. Yeah. Right, okay. But what's going here? Anything else in here? Apart from the Cassandra. What's the Cassandra? It goes Cassandra the bed. No. Right, back out. And that's where we came from. That's where we're going to. Been down there. Don't really want to go up there. Have we got... We don't have a map for 4th floor. We don't have a map for floor 4. We don't have a key for it either. Okay. I mean, seriously, you'd think by now we'd have gone with... Oh, hang on. We'd have found a hardware store somewhere in this town. And we would have picked up a sledgehammer. It's not like anyone's going to really sue us for breaking down doors now, is it? Okay, so just out of curiosity, if I went like that, I went too far. Hang on. No, that's right. That way. And there, and then no, there wasn't that. Not that one. That one. That one. Only trouble for this game, you can leave you high and dry for like, where the hell do I go next? We got one bracelet. The door there we can't get through. We got more combination locks. I don't think the base has anything to do with it, right? So we're going to safe down there, yeah. We need a keypad for the nursing station. We need 2 more bracelets. We need a code for the safe. Are we in the treatment room? Or was that locked? Treatment room's at the bottom here, I think. Yeah. No, treatment room's locked. I think C1 was locked. Let's go back to C1 and have a look at C1. But I'm pretty sure that... Is that the right way? Where are we? Yep. Next one on my right, yeah. You want? There we go. Oh no! Why didn't we come in here before? Oh, hang on. There's something behind the picture. The following interview was conducted with, in response to incident 071. I remember lying in the water empty, then I felt him stare. He was close, very close. I had to get out, I had to get away, but he followed, he kept staring. So I made him stop. Now I'm empty again. Can we go back to the pool? Yeah, that helps like a brick. The head. Right, treatment room's got a question mark where you can't get into. Can we go to the pool? Oh, something there. But we can't get into the pool. Why is there a picture of an eye? What if that's for the safe? Possibly. Maybe. Damn, you look like you're having fun today and totally know what you're doing. I know how to scream. How you doing, society? What's that? Hand cannon. I'd rather have some shotgun. Rick, if you're there, can you give society a shout out, please? I'm going just chilling, about to head out for it. Nice. What plans you got for today? Right, I know you're out there. Where are you though? No, 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 no.
I have walked the edge of the abyss. I
No.
have seen your future, and I have learned.
Submit!
There we go.
And her
Do your
torment
shout out.
and my own!
And my torment! Shut the fuck up! Nerd! I don't hear none of your ugly ass
Fuck
shit.
you.
You're about to get so fisted.
Oh.
That turned to a sock.
No, that's not what I'm trying to do. Come on. There we go. Right. Bad four-legged thing. No. Other glass. That one. There we go. Let me have a torch back on. Right. What's in there? Oh, now you give me shotgun shells. Now... Right, there we go. Right, what have we got? CAT scan. More bullets, thank you. Welcome back. So what are you up to today, society? Okay, where's that go out to? Okay, that's the other. That's the other one for L2. Right, that's the door we came in by. Yeah, all that medicine in that cupboard, and we get one bottle out of it. Like, come on, that door's not going to open because that's covered in cobwebs. Building the height for the. I've got the shotty with all of 3 bullets in it. Hang out with the girlfriend, then tomorrow I'll be heading out to visit my brother and mother for Thanksgiving. Oh, cool. Well, I hope you have a good Thanksgiving. It's one thing we don't have over here, but it's more of an American holiday anyway. Right. Okay, where are we now? Where? Right. L3 is the one we can't get into. That one's open. This is the one with sleepy. Yeah. Have you got anything to help with? Constructive to say?
Hey,
You want to get your ass out of the bed and come and help us search?
any luck finding Laura?
Not yet. How are you holding up?
I'll be okay. Just need a bit more rest.
Oh yeah, you rest your ass while we do all the walking around and getting hit by things and... I mean, it's not...
James? Thanks for checking up on me. It's very sweet of you.
Yeah.
Fuck off, it's sweet! Fuck off being sweet. I'm coming here to see if you're ready to get your lazy ass out of the bed to come and help us search. Right. So we've got about 5 keys to find, 2 codes to find, and 2 bracelets. I was joking. So where? That's just a picture. That's where we've saved. Is that... Okay, that's what that square is. Square's telling me it's save point. Right. We know Laura's in there, but we can't get to Laura in there because the door's locked. I think. Yeah. Huh. I'm not so sure. Right. Nothing unopened in the basement. The basement was pretty much straightforward. The pool we can't do because we can't get through the 2 doors to the pool. That staircase is blocked off. We can't get into the doctor's lounge because we need to find the code for there. Right. I'm going to have to go for a quick bit of pointer because I got no idea where we're going to next. Right. Give the map back. Right, first floor. Why do I get the feeling that I've missed the first bracelet entirely? Room D1, right? Right. So. Basement.
Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die. Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die. Invite a psycho killer inside.
Okay. Right, I need to go back downstairs. Where's downstairs? Can't use that elevator. If I go through there. Then that way? No. That way. I swear we've been through this bit before. Where could you respawn? You crafty little buggers. I thought we'd been through there before. Right. The elevator behind me. Yes. Right. And then I want record, which is all the way back that way. I mean, this shouldn't be. Oh, come on, I hit you first. Just. Stay hit. Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! At least she was there. Okay, what's that? Hand cannon. Nothing there. Is that it? Oh, we're getting out of this room? Right, stay still. Right. Okay, I want that way, I think. One more for good luck. Insert self-depreciating joke. Huh? Okay, so supposedly... Okay, so I've already got that one. I have got this one already. So that's a blanket fort one. There's one in L1. Find the room key. Okay, so we found that one. If that's the second bracelet. Oh, don't ask. Ooh, yeah. So where's the first bracelet? I got a feeling we missed one. No. Right, we've done that one. That's. It'd be helpful at times for this just to kind of give you a hint where the hell you're going to go next. Right, so we've got that one. Oh, okay. Right. I would have never thought of that. Right, okay, so we got that. You know what? I'm not afraid to Google things every now and again. I'd rather Google it than be stuck on a game for hours. Done that before. Right, so I can't get to the shower room though. Because the shower room doors are locked. So how do I get to the shower room? That would kind of that's probably why I haven't figured that one out, because I can't get to the room where the parts are that I need. Box puzzle. I swear you need a PhD to follow the logic of this game at times. I like the game, but you have to find the piece of hair in the box puzzle. I mean, if anyone wants to shout out hints, I am quite happy to have the hints. I haven't even come across a lockbox, have I? Oh, I am so lost. I mean, we did do bad. We got so far. Yeah, whom, why, and what? We're doing really well with the hospital, but I think we got. Did we get? I think we got the reception key. Yeah, we did that one. Okay, that one we got. Right, the basement we've done. Right, okay, that's fine. Okay, done that. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we got it to Paul, right? I'm not always lost. No, I said if anyone knows anything, any hint, shout out. We've got the shotgun, yes. Right, backtrack down the hall into Terminal 1. There's a wheel cart. You're right, we've done that. Done that. Done that. Done that. Done. I don't like anything with things doable. Oh, okay, I know what that is. It's a controller. Okay, we've done that. We're not doing too bad. We've done a lot of what we had to do without any guides. Press in there. Oh, hang on. Right, okay. Oh. One moment, caller. I haven't charged the controller up enough. Luckily, USB-C. No, I ordered that up, did I? Right, okay. Room 5. Floor 3, room 5. Right, okay. No, I need to go back upstairs. Okay. Right. I may have found where I was going wrong. I might. I'm not saying I have. I might. Okay. Right, map. Quickest way to the staircase, probably this way, then left. There shouldn't be anything left up here. Go ahead. Right, and then up here. Right, that's where we look through the door, so that way. Right, I want room 5. Is that down here? Yeah, down here. Down here, it should then turn right, I think. Oh, that's staircase. D2. That's what I missed. Right, okay, now we're getting somewhere. 1F inner walled, right. Okie dokie, we've opened, what have we got in here? Anything? Dr. Andrew delivered the radiographs you requested, however it looks like the file was incomplete, as one of the pictures was nowhere to be found. We will send someone as soon as we locate it. Let me know if you need anything else. Nothing on the other side. Okay. Empty drawer. Anything in the cabinets? No, but there is an X-ray with somebody that's got a very sore skull by the looks of it. That goes there. Not sure where that one goes. I'm guessing there may be. Okay. I'll leave that there for a minute. I guess there's another picture to come up. Somewhere. That was what's on that trolley. No. Yeah. Came in, that's a way out. Right, so. Right, I think we need to go back round. What was that key for? That's a combination lock. We don't have a combination lock yet. 1F in it. Oh, 1F. So where's 1F inner walled? It's not gonna be the basement. You're not gonna be. Well, you shouldn't get a ward in the basement. 1F, first floor in a ward. I wonder if that's the one to either of those. I wonder if that's the one that gets us down into the. Ah, okay, that's crafty. Right, okay, yeah, I was right. Right, okay, let's hide that for the moment so we're not trying to do some of this without too many spoilers. Right. But I am going back. So apparently I missed something in here. Apparently. Ah. There we go. Right. There we go. Right, we had that. So I'm guessing. No, rotate, rotate, rotate. There we go. That goes there. Oh, the code in the scratchies. Right. Don't know where that code's going to be. That could be for the door opposite. Okay. But yeah, right. We can't do it without the last one anyway. Right. Okay, we're getting somewhere. We need to go back down to the first floor. No, wrong way. Wrong staircase. Yeah. The right way, it helps. Ground floor, here we come. Easy way to the first floor. We need an elevator. We can't use that one. So, yep, all the way past this one. All the way to the end. Come on, through. Not. Right, a hand down a bit. There we go. First floor. First floor for ladies' clothes, lingerie, children's clothes, and socks. Why socks? I've got no idea, but we thought we just had socks in down there. Turn that back. Give that better. Right. I swear these lifts are gonna bust on us one of these times. Okay. Back this way. Now the question is, oh, I think it's this way. And right, we can. Okay, I could do some. I could really do with some more shotgun ammo at the moment. No. No, I said shotgun ammo, not. Hey Gina, thank you very much for the lurk. Hope you're doing well. I want shotgun ammo. Is that a medical? Is that a no, that's a handtail. Thank you for the lurk. Much appreciated. Right, okay. Where am I going? I know you're there somewhere. Ah, lovely. No, right, hang on. Anything around here? That'd be a no. Right, okay. What's that? Mold remover. You removed the mold in this place. You probably removed the bloody hospital. It's the walls deep inside the mold remover. Gets rid of it. Well, it's in the walls deep inside. The mold remover gets rid of it for a while, but then the thing reappears in the exact same spot. We need to get in there, break it all out if we have to, and root it out. It's nice. Where are you talking about? And why? The roaches have all gone. We picked the mold remover up, and the cockroach still ran off. The roach doing your pox disease. Probably. You explain the strange tickling sensation. Okay, my ammo supply is not doing so well. Right, we're not going through that door. Remember to wash your hands. Seriously, in this place, the water spray kill you more. 5 mils, yeah, these, okay, that's... Is that it? Is that all we're getting? Where are you? No, no, no. Stay down. Shit. Shit down. Hey. And you. Stop moving. Right, okay. Nice thing about that was we also took out the TV as well. So we don't got that making horrible noises. Okay, right, so we've now unlocked all of that side. I'm kind of disappointed there's nothing in the kitchen. All that space and there was nothing in there. No ammo. We took out the telly. Out for a piss? What's out for a piss? You'd think there'd be more ammo or something in here, not just kitchen cleaner. I mean, we seem to find bullets and that everywhere else. Why not in the kitchen? Knowing this place, they'd probably put it in the food. Oh, the telly. The telly's definitely seen better days. We go in there? Yeah, we did. Ah, can we open that? Right, okay, so we now can go up and down stairs. So that makes life a little bit easier. Right, that door's locked. I have a feeling that's the one we came in by.
Sorry I haven't been attentive, Jay. Work got hectic and now I'm off and I need to get out of the house to distress a bit. I'll be back later.
No problem, Rick. Thank you. I hope you de-stress and feel better. I'm going to go shower and head out for a bit. I'll catch you in a bit. No problem. Cheers, society. Hope you have a good day. Hope the girlfriend's well. Right, that's the door I came in by? Yes. Okay, that's the door I came in by. Right. Yep. There's handgun. I don't like the way this controller's vibrating. Okay, work around the room, work around the room. Okay, so, right, okay, I know what I need for that. That's fine. I open that. That's... Okay, that's the pharmacy. What else we got? I know I saw, another incident with 0050. He got out of the pool and made a break for the garden, cut himself wide open in the process. Thank God I was there. He was completely manic, screaming. Had the orders hold him down. Barely managed to stitch him up. He's back in his room now, sedated. Okay. Don't think I need to go outside yet. I could be wrong. We'll come back for that in a second. Right, where are we going? Right, down here. What else we got? And 3 bullets. Right, shower. No. Now, I don't know whether that's meant to sound like that or whether that's playing up. This care base is similarity to the situation that took place in the facility a few years back. The patient was admitted on a court order, but with the consent of the remaining family. His condition appeared to be improving for the first few weeks. The administrative medications paired with individual sessions with a psychiatrist and art therapy alleviated his avulsion, edema, and social withdrawal. There was no reason for concern. They didn't even know anything was wrong until the night the guard reported one of his keys was missing. When they found him, it was already too late. Okay, that's the key for the matron. Yeah. I think I know which one that's for. Where am I now? Where am I? Where am I? Oh, I'm in the locker room. Okay. Right. You, we'll take you. Every time I turn around and he looks at me face on, I think there's a circle there. It's not, it's his torch. Right, so where, I think it's upstairs, isn't it? Yeah. Right, I need to get into the shower room, but that door's locked. I got a feeling I need something to get in there. I'm trying to think what I need to get in there. Right, okay. I need to say, what am I missing? I think it's there's a piece of medical pipe. Okay. Apparently we do have to go in the garden. Fine. I need to go back to... Yeah. Actually, that might be a quicker way. Nope, I went the wrong way. If I go that way and then that way. There we go. Yep. No, not that one. We've done that one. Right. That was the TV we shot. That's the kitchen. Oh, pharmacy. We need to go to the pharmacy. No. Excuse me. Not that way. We'll get there eventually. We know where we're going, sort of. Right, there. Don't think you're out here alone. Right, okay. Right. Okay, let's go to you, you, and you. I still think there's one more out here. Right. What's in there? We got one shotgun shell. With one's better than none. Just make sure that thing stays down. Right. Okay, I think we're good now. I don't think there's anything else out here. I stand corrected. I stand corrected. There was one more out there. I swear we took care of those. Right. No. Can we get in? Yeah, we can. There we go. What's... all these look... Really do with a syringe? Yes, thank you. And handgun ammo. Okay. Is that it? That's all that's in here. I swear I just heard a cat. Right, okay. Right, so we need to go up to the first floor. So where are we? We're there. There's a staircase behind us. Yep. Right, we've opened that, so that's a quick way up. Okay, so we want the nurse's station. We're coming up. I think we're coming up that one, so we're coming up near the nurse's station anyway. Yeah. Straight ahead. Right. Okay, right. That code, so yeah, I thought that's what it was. That. Oh, okay, we're a bit higher than we've been for a while on that. Oh, yeah, more cockroaches. They feed me garbage and rotting meat, crawling with maggots. Thick with sinew, they make me bite down the juicy red and yellow. Hit the back of my throat. I choke and I gag and I vomit till my throat is sore. Naked throwing tube of flesh, I push it out. I can still. Okay, lovely. They bathe me in filth and blood and. Okay, charming. Why can I hear something? Oh, at least we are. Oh, there's the X-ray we needed. Okay, that's not ominous at all. Right, X-ray was on 3rd floor? Yes, right, okay. If we're there. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Right, 3rd floor. Here we come. X-ray. Down here to the right. Or to the left? The left. I thought he moved. I thought it moved. Right, X-ray. Inventory. Oh, I wonder. That one. Right. Yeah. There we go. Now we can do it. Right, I think. Right, 4. 4. Yes, 4, 37, 12. I think. Okay, so that's a guess. We've seen a lot that needs that. Oh, hello, it's over here. Right. So 4. $37. $12. Voila. Oh, fuck off with the cockroaches. Really? Lovely. Well, I don't even want to know. Right. That's bracelet number 2. Right, the last one's in the pool. But I need... hang on. Did that. Fine. Yeah, I know what we missed. Right, okay. Back. Map. Second 4. Is the first floor, right? We can't get into the shower room. It's locked. The shower room's locked. Right, okay. Unless. Right. We're on the 3rd floor, aren't we? Right, okay. Okay. Right, that's 2. Right, I need to go to the 3rd now. So, quickest way down. Where do I want to be when I get downstairs? I think I unlock that door. That's the elevator. Oh, was the staircase opens? Okay, there you go. Right, okay. It went down. Yeah, that's down to the basement. We don't want to go down to the basement. Right, okay. Yep. Right, that's the elevator. And... We never open the doors. Right, okay, we'll have to go the long way round. My bad. Always remember to open the doors for the shortcuts. Excuse me, ma'am? Sir, whatever. Why are you shaking your pipe at me? No! No. And no. Right, okay. Right, now we've got the door open, right. Now I need to get into there. I need to get in the shower room. How do I get into the shower room? I kind of feel I'm missing something to get into the shower room. But there's no lock on the shower room. Oh, okay, my bad. I done a boo-boo. Right. Right, hang on. Where's the... No, that's not it. I know why I'm going wrong. Right. We're out here. I saw that earlier and I thought it was just... Wow, that's, yeah. Lovely. Right. Oh. Okay. No, I think I know where that is. Hang on. Right. Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're solving this. That's shotgun. That's empty. Right. Okay, so we've got nothing there to do with one of those things anyway. Ah! Alright. Now I need to go back to the pharmacy. Right. Yeah, that's that one on the right. Okay. We should have a little map in the top right corner. That. Oh. There we go. Right, now try it. I mean, some of the holes you've stuck your hand into, I don't know why you haven't stuck your hand down there. You've stuck it into worse places. Have you seen some of the holes he put his hand into? Right, Paul, right, I know where you're going. Door out, there we go. He should have a step counter on the amount of steps he's done in here. Okay, there, and... You move now after I just put it in your head. You... Right. Got eyes. I'm not taking any chances. I'm giving these a good thwacking first. Right, break down the wall. Which wall? Pick off, you spooky bitch. Right, okay. Right, back upstairs. Actually, where am I? Arrow, yeah, that's fine. Out that way. Oh, we take the elevator because it's here. Right, I want to go back to... out that way, around there. Right, and number 3. Huh. Okay, alright, try that way around. That could match up. No, that's not quite. That doesn't. Does that match up? I'm pretty near the mark. It might just be this one that I need to make. There we go. Okay, right. That should open up. Where are you? Was it? Yeah, save, definitely save. Okay. We got that. Okay, so we can move or select those. Huh. Okay, so I'm guessing this needs to be. Oh, okay, okay. Right. Still doesn't look right. Oh, that's right, that's right. No, it still doesn't look right. Something missing. Aha! Okay, that looks better. Which is, where does that one go? That might go there. Hang on. That's it. Right. Okay, I need to take a screenshot of that because I can't write that down. Right. Okay, so that's there. Yep, save that again. Thank you. I swear the puzzles in this are as bad as they were in Terry Pratchett's Discworld. Now that was took some real puzzling. Okay, so starters. Right, that goes in there. So what was it? Was hang on. Oh, okay, is it that way? Okay, so that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5, and then 6 is. Okay. There's not just. Hang on. Really? Okay. I suppose I should have known that. Oh, okay. 92, 45, 71. Right, okay. Right, so 9 is... 9... 2 is that. 3 is... 3, no, 9, 2. 4 is... that. 5 is... that. 7 and 1. 7 is... that. And 1 is... there we go. Rooftop. Okay, yeah, no, I know where that is. Where else are we in there? Their images become blurry, melted together. I could no longer tell, not sure if I could do it, but maybe you can. This will take you to where you need to be, though probably not the way you want to. And there's bound to be some pain involved. There always is. That it? That's it. Right. Okay. 3rd floor. Here we come. We're there. Quick way to 3rd floor. Straight through and left. Right. Okay. Thank you very much for the stretch, Stuart 90s. How you doing? How is your Tuesday going? I keep wanting to say it's later than Tuesday. This week really has felt like it's dragged. Where are we? Oh, wait. I think. Yeah. Back left a bit. Doing well, man. How are you? I am not bad. Nothing to really complain about. We know we're doing well. We got one child very poorly, one semi-poorly, but that's the time of year and getting colds. Apart from that, no, we're doing well. How are you keeping? What you been up to? Right, roof. How many bullets I got? I've got 17 of those, and I've got 2 of those. So what, part of me wishes this was on mouse and keyboard, because I'd like to be able to turn around a hell of a lot faster than this that lets me. Right, there's bullets there. Why can't I get the bullets? Let me have the bullet. Oh, okay, I'm going to have to go around for it, I guess. Just got up having some coffee. Nice. Coffee is always a good answer. Yeah, this is a remastered one. I never played the original. I'm not normally a big horror fan, but I got talked into buying this by my missus for Spooktober, and after paying the money for it, I thought Sonic would try to actually finish a game. I know, shock horror, a streamer finishing a game. Who would have thought? Oh, right, yeah, sorry. That's the lift shaft, and you want me to tread on the wood above the lift shaft. I mean, this isn't going to go badly. May the night's rain stared out a window all day, peaceful here, waiting to do. Still not allowed outside. No, nothing to do. Still out, not allowed outside. May the 10th, still raining. Talked to the doctor a little. they have saved me if I didn't have a family to feed. I know I'm pathetic and weak. Not ever going to be strong. May 11th, rain again. It sounds like the UK. The meds made me feel sick today. If I'm only better when I'm drugged, then who am I anyway? Ready to... Oh, there's another door there, okay. There's another locked door there, so we can't go through there. There'll be more than that, surely. Oh! Yeah, this is why I don't do horror games. Well, I suppose that's one way of going down a floor. Okay, so where am I now? Where did I land? Oh, right, that's one way of getting into the other side of where I wanted to be. Right, okay. Right, we haven't been down here before, so there's every chance of everything, every spooky thing going. I mean, I don't trust that little girl for one thing. All the spooky shit that's going off around this hospital. And she's walking around perfectly unharmed. I don't think so. Right. Okay, I can cut through there now. Thank you. Well, our medical supplies are looking a bit better. Now, if we can find a few more shotgun shells, I'd be happier. Ask and you shall receive. We're actually up to 6 shotgun shells. 6 shotgun shells. Say that 10 times fast. You got much planned for this week, True 90s? No, nothing in here. You know what? I'll just stay in that room. It's nice, it's safe, it's padded. I can bounce off the walls. Nothing to try to kill me in there. But, boing. 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 I'm working for the rest of the week. What about you? Yes, I'm working during the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm working. If I don't take half day off, I still haven't decided whether I want to take half day off or not. I got half a day left to use up before the end of the year that I haven't got booked off. I don't think she's in there. Apart from that, of the stream tonight, no stream tomorrow night. Not sure what I'm doing tomorrow night yet. Oh, okay, I might need to go that way actually. Stream Thursday night. We're going to play Forbidden West, Burning Shores, the DLC, because we haven't played that yet. What else we got? Friday, no plans. Saturday is Fortnite. Okay. Getting somewhere at last. Yes, we are. But no, not a lot planned till Midway Park next month, and then we're going to Camden for the weekend.
Laura?
How do you know my name?
Eddie told me.
That big, fat blabbermouth.
Laura. Why do you keep running away from me? And how do you know about Mary?
I just do. What's the big deal?
Why can't you just tell me?
You gonna yell at me if I don't?
No. I won't. Please just... I need to know.
Mary's my friend. We met at the hospital last year.
Stop lying. Laura, I'm sorry.
Fine! Don't believe me! See if I care!
Hey!
Let go!
I'm sorry, Laura, but I can't let you just run around this place. You might get hurt.
Hurt by what?
Look, just stay with me.
I won't shout at you. 2 seconds later, he shouts.
Fine. But there's something I gotta get.
Laura,
It's important.
what is it?
A letter. For Mary.
What?
I hid it. In there.
Okay.
You sure this is where you left it?
It's in the back. Behind an old pipe.
Okay, wait here. Laura?
Oh, we couldn't see that one coming, could we?
Open the door, Laura.
Why should I? I'm a liar, right? Want me to open it? Huh? Do ya?
Laura, open this door right now.
Could you try saying please?
Word. Nope, that's not it. I guess I won't open it.
Get me out of here, you rat!
In your dreams, fart face.
Laura, please open the door. There's something in here.
Sure there is. A big lying fart face. See ya, fart face!
Laura! Laura!
Okay. Oh. Okay, I'm nearly out of ammo, yeah. Seriously, how much? Yeah, why do I get the feeling I'm going to have no ammo by the time I finish this? Oh. Fucking hell was that? Nightmare fuel. No kidding, nightmare fuel.
James.
Yes. The hell are we going?
James.
Yes.
James.
Okay. Right, okay, we don't have any medkits left. And I don't know where we are. Okay, we'll soon find out. Right, we've got 4 shots of that left, and we've got none of that left. Right, okay, so we'll find out that we've used too much ammo in that last bit. We shouldn't have used half of it. Patient number 3141, designated room 2989, room number, initial symptoms, hyperfocus. Current diagnosis say can be fixed. Recommendation, stop at nothing. No turning back now. 5 ammo. Right, that's better. We're up to 9. Okay, and we have one of those. That's better. Still like more ammo, please. Thank you. Please, thank you. Right. Yep, we want that. Thank you. Definitely saving there. Now, are we back in the upside down? That's the question. Right. That doesn't look healthy. Nor does that. That's locked. Okay, so the elevator might be the only place to go. Christian, where do I want to go? But the door's shut. That's half the battle, I suppose. I mean, I would say if we don't get anything spooky come with for a little bit until we're a bit more armed, but okay. Welcome back, Rick. Okay, what's on that? That's handgun ammo. Got to 11. No. Yep. I have returned. I am back. Look who's back. Back again. What are you? Okay, I think you're one of the ones with the pipes. I take it back. I think you had a knife, not a pipe. Okay. Have we both quite finished trying to play slice and dice with my arms and the rest of my anatomy? I bet we haven't got a map. Oh, we have got a map for here. Sort of. Very sort of. Whoa! Fuck you! Fucking creepy little... Right. Look, James, it's your own fault. Any other sensible person would have fucked off out of town at the first sight of all this shit that was going on. But no, you've got to be old noble and whatever and decide to come in. It's your own damn fault. Well, that looks healthy. Okay, we've got two of those, right, okay. What are you clipping? Thank you, Rick. That'd be on TikTok. Did I open that door? Okay, where am I? Okay. Okay, that's the staircase. Can't get out that way. Right. Out of curiosity, before I go out there, I just want to go and check. Nope. Where did I... Where did I come in? Right, okay. Door that way. Nothing there. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything else. Right, I came up. See, I know there's something behind there. There more bullets in here? No, of course not. Right, I saw you going down the hallway, right, okay. Let's check at the end here for any... Nope. Right, okay, so we have 2 shots and that's it. Okay, we've got 3 shots on that. Oh no, 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 I see bullets, I see bullets. Okay, we've got 5 shots on that. Okay. There's something in there, I know. Nothing there. I know. And that needs a key, right? Okay. Right, can't climb into that one. Maybe we can't get in this way yet? Right. That was locked. Damn. That's where 2 shotguns gone. Right, okay. Anything there? No. That's... Okay, we're getting handgun up here. Handgun. I'm guessing you're going in front of that. Because there's a line point there. No. No. That way. Maybe not. Oh, maybe that... no, I know. Okay. Right. Hang on. Right, move that out of the way first. Then we push this. Let's check. There's nowhere else in here to climb up to, is there? I'm 99.9% sure. That has to be... The only thing you use that for is climbing. Can I pull it? No. I'm pretty sure that has to be brought out there for that one. Can't see anywhere else you'd use it in here. It wouldn't make sense because you can get out of here. There we go. Oi! Oi! No. 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 Oh, there go my bullets again. Fucking things. You know, I was getting so happy with the amount of ammo in that we had earlier. Got one bullet left. What's that? 4 bullets left. Okay, it's marginally better. He's there again, looking and staring. He says he'll drag me there. I don't want to. I won't let him take me. Okay. Oh, director's office. No one knows. I really don't like the heavy. Oh right, okay, the director's office back there. Okay. You go the right way? Yep. Hang on. No, that way. Yep. Okay. And okay, there's a ladder. There's a letter. There'd be no pain anymore. Okay. Right. Tape recorder's still there. Aha. That. One shotgun shell and one of those. Alright, you got 4 shotguns and 4 bullets. And 4 bullets. Yep, okay. If you stream, you don't have Seribot, you should do. Seribot's the best thing going. Let's check something. Hang on. I didn't even see anything posted and he caught it, so that's good. Okay, it works. Right, where are we going? Oh, back to game. Come on. Right. Oh, we just came up, didn't we? That's why. You come in here again. I've got so little bullets. I see bullets. I see bullets. I found 0050 in the ECT room again. This time I checked, he was not appointed for the treatment. How is it possible he got there at all by himself? And how would he know how to turn the thing on? Somebody's got to answer for this. So close. It will happen. It has to. That's locked. Where am I? Right, so I've just come out of... Oh, so I'm up on the 3rd floor. Okay. Yep. Okay, now I really need health. Right, okay. Is there a doctor in the house? Where'd I come from? Hang on. Okay. I came out of there, didn't I? I did. I did. I have no ammo. I have no health kits. If I meet anything at the moment, I am screwed 6 ways to Sunday. I have 2 bullets. Okay, at least that stops me blaze shaking now, right. I'll get out that door. I think that door wasn't open, was it? No. Okay, here we go. Okay, 9659. We haven't seen a lock up here. So I'm thinking possibly back downstairs. Quick. I did all of that. Yep, doing that. What's that? I don't know what was beeping. Done that. You know what we got? We figured a lot of it out. You can sneak through the cell. Let's see if I can find generators. It. Did we miss something? Hang on. Hang on. Yeah, that way. Through there. Yeah. That teaches me to look better. I won't rest until they're solved. Until they are solved, I won't rest. I can't rest. I don't know how anymore. Right. There's nothing in here, is there? Ammo-wise or... Okay, so that's that door. No. Yeah. Right, okay. Right, I know where we need to go now. Downstairs. Where do we need to go now? Out the damn village! Run away! Right. We can bet around that way. I think there is it. Got 2 bullets and no shotgun. Always comforting. And I don't think I've got any more health kits either. So if I take damage, I'm screwed. Right, okay. Right. I'm thinking... we save to be on the safe side. We do a double save to be on the safe side. Right, okay. Right. Okay, so 9, 6, 5. Nine, 6, 5, 9. Oh, okay. No, maybe that one. Okay. Okay, that should open some up more. That's right. Okay, right. Map. Rest room I want next. Oh, okay, right. Chains relax, so that lets us into other places. Right, okay. Oh, thank you for nothing. I might need that. Okay, I want the... The clock, where's that clock? Oh, no.
Thank you for being a friend.
Thank you Vanessa Creates 20 for the follow.
Thank you very much for the follow. How you doing? How is your Tuesday going? So, if I get this right... Oops. Get back. Yep. Thank you. No, no. Well, that was short-lived. Okay, try again. We don't have much health, that's the trouble. 5. No, what's reset? Right. 9, 6, 5. Okay, right. That's that one done. Right. Where's the chain? Where's the chain? Where's the chain? Follow the chain. That way? Yeah. I'm not bad. I'm not bad, not bad. I could do with more health on this. How are you? How is your Tuesday going? Hopefully you're having a good day. Right, I know you're over that side. Okay, you stay over that side for the moment. What are you? Oh, there were some bullets somewhere. Oh, okay. Take us up to 5 bullets. Okay, they all seem to have disappeared, so I'm going to take the advantage of them all buggering off. And try to increase my ammo. I think you've got no problem at all. Right, that's more... I was going to say there's more health in there, but it's not. It's just trolling us. What we got? That's... Oh, come on. There's got to be some shotgun ammo somewhere in here. Surely. Where am I? M5. Okay. Oh, unlock that door. This is where I came. Okay, probably where I came in. Okay. Well, that makes it easier to climb over the wall. Just followed your tricks. Yes, thank you very much for that. Much appreciated. Just out of curiosity, where did you... Oh, what's that? Oh, you're doing a flashback? Okay. Where did you find this from? Okay, you're up to 10 bullets. Right, okay, that's getting better. One year they've been watching me. So many pills they fed me. When a loud hour comes, I tremble every time the light falls. Yeah, okay, that's not... Watch it go dark. Thank you, baby. Love you too. Oh, my dicky dicker. Right. You know what? I'm going back to save before I start doing that. So I know what's coming with the door. Where's the door that I want? Is that it? Right, there we go. Did you soil yourself? Maybe. It does feel a little bit wet. Right. Where am I going? I need to go back there. Please, I don't have to go and hunt the ammo if I die. That's what she said. Thank you for being my friend. Right. Okay. Are we ready? No. Where you? Oh, come on. I didn't want to spin around, I want to jump backwards. This jump scare caught me off guard, I literally jumped. Yeah, I did slightly too. For some reason the room's gone cold. Heating's on, I don't know why it's so cold. Right, now that's why I saved there. Because I had a feeling that was going to happen. Right, where'd that chain go? Hang on, find the chain on the floor. Find the chain on the floor. That one. I want the slack chain. But yeah, we got the jump scares on the alerts, and we also got the jump scares on Dixper. Dixper is on. Right, where are you? Right, clock. Right, try again. Right, we got 10 shots. Did I? That's not more than 10. Alright, never mind. Doesn't help. We've got no shotgun bloody ammo left. We have to try this hand cannon. Right, where are we? If at first you don't succeed, skydiving is not for you. Right, hang on. I know one of you comes from that way. One of you comes from that way. What if I'm better coming out in there? Right, okay. Hey, fuck off! I was running away from you. Pardon my French. No. No. Oh, you, what are you? No, no. Oh, come on. Really? Really? Thank you for the alert. Anything killed us by exploding. Right, it's that one I want. I keep hitting the shoulder button, it's not the shoulder button. Right. Screw you, 6 ways to Sunday. Right. Okay, maybe knock her out that door then. That way. Right. Okay, so I know one comes that way, one comes that way. I put three lots of bullets into her. She should have died. At least two of them went in the head. No. Yeah. So you got nowhere to really back off from them. I want to know where you come from. You must come over that wall. Now, where the fudge in hell are you come from? No, I didn't. Oh, come on. I didn't do that. I didn't go to swing. I pulled the aim button. So it'd be really helpful if my controller listened to what I'm pressing. Please. Or the game would. Oh, come on. The really annoying thing is the controls don't respond fast enough. So I hit a heal in the middle of that and it didn't even use the heal. I didn't mean to turn the torch on at that, but the torch is on the thumbstick and I put too much pressure on it. Right, come on. You can do this. We got a couple more tries at this. Will you nanas? Right, hang on. Right. So she comes from up here somewhere. I know there's a crawly thing in there. I wonder... Huh. Okay, I got an idea. I've got an idea. I might have shoot. I don't. Fuck you. Oh. Okay, we have no ammo. Oh, no, we have stuff. Where did we find 2 shotgun shells from? Fine, okay. Right. Ha. Ha. Where are we? Right, let me just... What are you doing over there? What are you doing? Around 2 seconds, sorry, something's going wrong. Why are you appearing? Huh. That's weird. Wait, where was I? Do you know me? I think we've spoken before. I will fully admit I am terrible for remembering names. I will fully admit that I am terrible. So Oh yeah, on X, Twitter.
Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die. Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die. Invite a psycho killer inside.
Thank you for that, Rick. Yes, for that. Sorry, we've spoken on Twitter before. Right, where was I? I was trying to double check something. No, that's not what I want. That's what I want. Okay, did that. M4. Okay. Excuse me. Do you mind getting out of the way of the game? Thank you. Right. Say M4. M4. Where's M4? So M4 is out of here and down the corridor. Right. Yeah, we got no heals. Part of me is tempted to go back and save just in case, but right, M4. Yeah, I think I found all the bullets already. I think I found all the bullets. That's the trouble. I'm now back to no bullets. No bullets, no meds. And if this kill, if I died now, I probably have to go back to. I smash through the wall and into M2 to reach M1. Right. I might have already done that as well. No. Hold on. You can now smash through the wall M2 to reach M1. Can I? The diary page contains a series of hints that, when decoded, result in a 4-digit number. Yeah, Twitter, X, yeah. Oh, right, I thought it was. You can now smash through the wall at M2. Examine the open book on the floor and press investigate. Oh, hang on, that might be it. Is that it? Read. Okay, the 4-digit code. Right, okay. Okay, so the code is... Right, okay, that makes sense. 1... Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 6. Right, where's that page on? 1, 6, 2. I tremble every time the light fails. I think that's 2. I think that's 1622. Right, okay. I need to find a way out of here now. Oh, that way. Right, okay, now if this works, if we got this right, this should be 1, 6. There we go. Right, before I do anything else, I am saving this. We really don't have a lot. Well, we've got no health. We've no health, no bullets. If we got up anything big now, we're so up the creek without a paddle. It's unbelievable. Oh, we need a key. Right. Okay, we are stopping there. We saved. We can come back. This is next time. So we are going to go out because it is 11:30 and I am up in the morning for work. So. Nope, don't do that. We'll put that back on. Yeah, put that just chatting for a minute. Right. If I can have my mouse cursor back, please. Thank you very much. Let's see who is on that we can go and raid. We don't have anyone playing this, do we? No. Who haven't we raided in a while? There's no way raiding that one because A, it won't let us, and yeah, no. No. Who do we have? Who do we go and raid? Oh. That's somebody we've never raided before. Hold on, give me a second. Okay, I think we've got a new one we can go and raid. Yeah, let's go and raid something different. Right, okay. Let me see. Right, raid. Following. Let's go find where they are. Come on, stop playing hide and seek. Stop playing hide and seek. We know you're on here somewhere. Oh, you're on here somewhere. I just can't find your name in the list. Nope. Yes, there you are. Right. Start raid. Right, we are going to go and raid Artemis Frost. They are a member of the Ghost community, same as Red. We will be back on Thursday night, I think, what day of the week it was in. We're back Thursday night. We are going to go back into Horizon Forbidden West and play the Burning Shores DLC. It's been a while since we played any Horizon, so it will be nice to jump back in and play a bit. But we'll be doing the DLC this time. And then Saturday we'll be back with the wonderful Fortnite. Trying to go for those dubs, and fingers crossed we'll get some. Potentially we will have Gorgeous with us for that evening if she's feeling well enough and fancies it. And also if he's around, maybe Doc and anyone else that wants to come in and play. For now though, we are going to go out with a raid. We are going to go and raid Artemis. Please come along for the raid and for the support. And we will catch you next time. But for now, have a fantastic hump day. Stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you on Thursday. But good night for now.